Hi everybody, it's Miss Massey and I am going to give you a walkthrough of how to use opposing viewpoints. So I have decided that my research topic is going to be about the drug testing of student athletes, and according to the topic guide that I looked at, I should look on this database for athletes and drugs. So we're going to start there. Okay, drugs and athletes, that's my topic. So I'm going to click on my topic. And the first thing it's going to give me is an overview article. And I'm going to go ahead and read that because that's going to give me a lot of background information. And that'll either help me determine whether or not I want to stop researching this and start doing something else, or it's going to give me a lot of background information that I'll use in my introduction or something like that. So I'll talk about a few things that are on the screen here. Over on this sidebar where it says explore, it gives you topics that are related to whatever it is that you're looking at. And it gives you a little table of contents so you can kind of skip around in the article however works for you. So I'm specifically writing about youth athletes. So I think I'm going to skip some of this stuff up here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on youth athletes. And before I do that, I just want to show you, it does give me some related subjects, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and skip down to drugs and youth athletes. And so I can read this here, and it'll tell me some things about steroid use and drug use in athletes in schools. So, I might find some good information in there, I might not. And then I'm just going to scroll back up. It does some cool things that give you some questions to think about. They talk about specific things like the limits of drug testing, which is what I'm writing about. I'm specifically writing about drug testing, so it's important that you don't get too far off track when you're doing this. So that might be a really good thing for me to read. And then I'm just going to keep going up. And this main ideas kind of tells you some just basic facts about the article that you're reading, and a lot of the articles in this database have that. So I have found some good background information. I've maybe saved this article if I thought it might be useful later, but I'm going to go ahead and choose drug testing as my related subject because that's what I'm actually writing about. So when I click on that, it's going to refine my search results down to drug testing for athletes. So this isn't quite as specific as I want to be yet. So there are some things over here that I can do to make it a little more specific. The first thing is look at subjects. So when I click on subjects, it's going to give me all of the subjects that are within this search. And I'm specifically looking for anything related to youth sports. So I'm going to do juvenile drug abuse, students, high school students, maybe school districts, and hopefully, there's youth, I missed that. And once I scroll back through and make sure I didn't miss anything I wanted to look at, I'm going to apply those changes. And now I'm down to really not that much left, which is good. I don't want to have to, thumb through a lot of things. So I'm going to go ahead and click this full text documents check box because I don't want to look at things that are just a description of an article. I want to see the whole thing. So I'm going to click that. And there are some other things over here you can do that I just want to show you. You can choose your publication date. So if you want to only look at the last 10 years, you can put in a date here and a date here and apply that. I'm not going to do that this time. You can also do things like change your content level. So if you know that you read on a little bit of a lower level than other people in your grade level, or if you just are finding that some of these level 5 articles are really hard for you to understand, you can choose some of these lower level ones. Really, I would stick to anything 3 and above. Some of the super lower level ones are really only for those students who have a lot of trouble reading. And then you can also search within your results. So if you're looking for something very specific, you could search something here. All right, so I'm just going to look at what I have though. It's always going to put a little preview of what content you have available to you up here. So I have 21 viewpoint articles, 5 reference articles, 1 statistic, 30 magazine articles, and 92 news articles, which is still a lot of stuff to look through. So I think that's pretty great. This is just going to be a preview in these boxes. So if you actually want to see all of the viewpoints articles, you would click on the word viewpoints. And I'll just scroll down and show you how that works. So here's my 5 reference articles. And reference articles are just really background information. You're not going to get anything from there that might really help your research that much, but they might have good information for your introduction. Statistics. So this says the largest national study shows that drug testing fails. Now that's from 2008, but that's a really good statistic, so I might want to use that. And then magazines about drug testing in the news. So like I said, you would click on these to see all of the articles. I actually see a good one right here that I want to look at because I'm interested in arguing against drug testing. So I'm going to click on school drug testing programs do more harm than good. And it's going to look very similar to that first article we looked at. Usually they have this article commentary at the top, which will give you some background information about the article, just a little summary, maybe some quotes, and then it'll give you some questions to think about while you're reading. And again, if you look over here on the side, it's going to give you more articles that are similar to this, although these look like they're actually arguing against my stance. So I might not want to look at those particular articles. And then they have the table of contents, so I can very easily skip through this article and look at the things that I want to look for. And then again, it gives you these related subjects. So as I scroll down, you're going to notice that you're seeing the word drug testing highlighted in a different color. And that's because that's the subject that we're looking at right now. So it's always going to highlight the word drug testing. And if you're looking for a specific term within an article that you haven't searched for, you can always press Control F and it'll give you this little search bar, and you can look at, I don't know, like I just want to look at stuff about high schools. So if I type in high school, it tells me that there's 9 different places where that's mentioned within the article, and I can just click these little arrows and it'll skip me to where it mentions those. So that might be helpful. It might not. It might tell you that you can't find anything in the article related to what you're looking for. So, but that's just a cool little shortcut to skip through the article. And then these are just suggestions for books and news and magazine articles that are about the same thing. And then our citations down here at the bottom. And those related articles are also at the bottom. So once you get done reading your article or skimming through it, you can click View More, and it'll show you more articles. So like I might want to look at this one about how they're ineffective and harmful or something like that. And then once I have decided that I want to use an article, there are a couple of different ways that I can save it. The best way to me is to click on the little drive file, and it will sign you into Google. The first time you do it, it'll ask you to log in. I've already done that, so it's just saved me this article in my Google Drive, and it'll be in its own folder called Opposing Viewpoints. And then you always want to grab the citation. Now, I will say the citation on these Gale articles are at the bottom of the article, so it's actually already in the article I just saved on my Google Drive. But if I click on Cite, I can also just copy and paste my citation into a document, like if I were going to go ahead and start making a works cited, which I definitely would suggest doing that. So that way you kind of have all that done. And that's kind of how you use Opposing Viewpoints. It's really easy. I think it's really user-friendly, and it kind of walks you through the process as long as you know what kinds of things to search and what to click on.